I was sipping my morning coffee, watching the sparrows dart across my quiet backyard in Maple Grove, Idaho, when I saw a white van unload a dance floor onto my patio, my private patio, where I grill burgers and read in peace, and realized my neighbor, Sharon Tate, had hijacked it for her cousin's wedding without so much as a text. By the time I stepped outside, fairy lights were up, chairs were in rows, and Sharon, the HOA's self-crowned empress, was strutting around like she owned my house, telling me I should feel privileged to host her event. That's when something snapped, not loud, not angry, but cold and calculated, and I decided Sharon was about to learn a lesson in boundaries, courtesy of a little soap gel and a lot of chaos. My name's Tom Delaney, 49, a former materials engineer who spent years testing surfaces for safety, friction, traction, the works, before retiring to this sleepy subdivision with my dog, Rusty, and a love for keeping things simple. This patio, a cozy tiled space off my living room, is my haven, where I sip whiskey under the stars or tinker with my old radio set. It's mine, deed and all. Not some HOA playground. But Sharon, with her power suits and her knack for bending rules, saw it as her stage. And her smug dismissal of my rights lit a fire I hadn't felt since my days dodging corporate egos. I wasn't just going to stop her. I was going to make her regret ever stepping foot on my property. It all started Thursday, when a flyer from the Meadow Pines HOA showed up, taped to my door like a parking ticket. It was the usual nonsense: sprinkler updates, trash pickup changes, but buried at the bottom was a line about community event overflow on shared spaces. I tossed it aside, figuring it was another of Sharon's overreaching schemes. Friday, I got home from the hardware store to find my patio transformed. A portable altar, gold-trimmed chairs, a DJ booth like we were hosting a rave. Two guys from Premier Events were stringing lights. Looking confused when I stormed out. "This is my patio," I said, voice tight. "Who told you to set up here?" The clipboard guy shrugged. "Work order says it's for Sharon Tate's cousin's wedding. Talk to her." Right on cue, Sharon swept in, all designer scarf and sharp heels, her smile as fake as her tan. "Tom," she said, like we were old pals, "this is a special day for my cousin Emily. We're using your patio for the wedding." I held up my deed, the property map clear as day. "This is private property, Sharon. You can't just take it." She rolled her eyes, waving a manicured hand. "Section 7B of the HOA bylaws calls this a community deck. You should be thrilled to contribute." I stared, floored by her gall. "Move it by tomorrow, or I will," I said. She laughed, cold. "Feel honored, Tom. 70 guests are coming." Then she turned, humming a wedding march, dismissing me like I was her gardener. That night, I pored over my HOA contract, every line, every clause. My patio was exclusive, no question. The bylaws didn't even mention a community deck. I called my old colleague, Mike, a lawyer who'd handled property disputes. "She's got no leg to stand on," he said. "Document everything, photos, videos, the flyer. But the wedding's tomorrow, so the board won't act in time." I hung up, staring at the floral arches Sharon's crew had added. Her Starbucks cup on my railing like a trophy. Words wouldn't stop her. She was too drunk on her own power. But I knew surfaces, how they held or betrayed you. And I had an idea that'd make her wedding unforgettable. I'd worked on friction tests for years, tile, concrete, you name it, and knew a non-toxic soap gel used in factories to reduce drag. Odorless, clear, it turned smooth floors into ice rinks, perfect for chaos without harm. I drove to an old supply shop, grabbed a canister, and tested it in my shed. A dab on tile. And I nearly slid into the wall. Safe, but slick, exactly what I needed. That night, past midnight, with the neighborhood asleep, I crept onto my patio in rubber-soled boots, a sprayer in hand. I coated the dance floor, the buffet area, the path to the DJ booth, avoiding the aisle and rugs to delay the effect. I cleaned every tool, wiped my shoes with vinegar, and deleted my purchase history. This wasn't vengeance, it was precision, a lesson in consequences Sharon wouldn't forget. Saturday dawned bright, the wedding day in full swing. Sharon arrived in a gaudy teal dress, directing caterers like a film director, ignoring me completely. Guests filled my patio, oohing over the perfect venue Sharon had secured. I stayed inside, sipping lemonade, watching through my blinds, my phone ready to record. The ceremony went off without a hitch, vows, rings, applause, and Sharon beamed, basking in her stolen glory. I waited, heart steady, knowing the real show was coming. The DJ kicked off with a slow dance, the newlyweds gliding to the tiled center. One step, two, then the bride wobbled, her heel slipping. The groom lunged to catch her, but his shoes betrayed him, and they crashed in a heap. Laughter rippled, then gasps as the best man slid into the buffet, sending shrimp flying. Karen, rushing to help, hit the gel and went down hard, her dress catching a tray of cupcakes. Guests tried to stand, only to skate into each other. A groomsman toppled the cake, a flower girl dove into a hedge. An uncle crawled under a table. It was chaos, a ballet of flailing arms and frosting-smeared suits. Sharon pounded my glass door, screaming, "You did this, Tom." I held up my deed, calm as stone. "You're on my property, Sharon. Leave." Her face twisted, but she slipped again, landing in a pile of napkins. An elderly guest, Agnes, stepped forward, phone in hand. "I recorded her," she said. Showing a video of Sharon bragging, I forged the notice. That guy's got no spine. The HOA enforcers, there to mediate, froze. Dale, one of them, took my deed, read it, and backed off. "This is private land," he muttered. Sharon lunged for Agnes's phone, but the old woman was too quick, tucking it away. "Don't touch me," Agnes snapped. Sharon hissed, "This isn't over." But her allies were already slinking away, the crowd filming every slip. By evening, the videos were everywhere. Karen's cake crash, slippery wedding fiasco racking up millions of views. My phone buzzed with tags, memes, even a podcast invite from Neighborhood Nightmares. I stayed quiet, letting the truth do the work. Sunday, the HOA called an emergency meeting. The room packed with fed-up neighbors. Sharon strutted in, blazer crisp, ready to spin her sob story. I'd sabotaged her cousin's wedding, endangered lives, ruined a family legacy. I handed over a flash drive, my photos, videos, Agnes's clip of Sharon's confession. The board watched in silence as Sharon's voice echoed. "I make the decisions here." When Agnes stood and said, "You can't fake what we all heard," the room turned on Sharon. Linda, the president, read a legal notice. Sharon was liable for damages, stripped of her role, banned from voting. She stormed out. Heels clicking, her silence louder than her screams. The fallout was swift. The viral clip sparked a news story, HOA hijack gone wrong, with my side included thanks to Agnes. Neighbors posted about Sharon's past abuses, fake fines, secret rule changes, using HOA funds for her lawn. An audit uncovered thousands in shady expenses. From her catered meetings to her home's landscaping. Sharon's lawsuit threat, defamation, sabotage fizzled when my lawyer sent her team my evidence. She backed off. But not before trying one last stunt, posing as an HOA consultant to install cameras near my house. I caught it, reported it, and the city opened a fraud case. Her brother, a local councilman, distanced himself, and her social circle vanished. Weeks later, the bride, Emily, knocked on my door, alone, apologetic. "I didn't know," she said, eyes down. Sharon lied about everything. We talked over coffee, and she laughed, admitting her cake dive was the realest part of my marriage. She'd annulled it. The groom bailed, overwhelmed by the drama. Emily started a podcast, Wedding Wrecks, and invited me as her first guest. I shared the story, anonymized, and it hit 1 million downloads, a cathartic release for us both. Sharon's house went dark. No parties, no flags. Just silence. One night, kids projected wedding clips on her garage, a silent meme fest of her sliding into cupcakes. She ran out, tripped on a rug, and landed in lemonade. The crowd watching from lawn chairs. Days later, a moving truck came. Sharon loaded it alone, her poodle yapping, and drove off without a word. A paper tiara appeared on her stoop, slip queen. Nobody claimed it, but everyone smiled. My patio's mine again, sealed, peaceful, with a small plaque by the gate. Truth slips through, June 2025. The HOA's reformed, term limits, open budgets. No more Karens. Neighbors held a movie night on my patio, with permission, laughter echoing under the stars. I kept my evidence, just in case, but Maple Grove feels alive now, free of her shadow. Clara and I grill out most nights, Rusty at our feet, the community humming with trust we hadn't felt in years. But last week, a friend in a nearby town mentioned an HOA flyer. Pushing shared space events, signed by a consultant, with a familiar name. Sharon's back, or someone like her, sniffing for control. I'm not chasing her, but that plaque's a reminder. Some fights are worth winning with a mop, a gel, and a whole lot of patience. So where are you watching from? Ever had a Sharon steal your space, thinking they're untouchable? Drop your story below. Let's talk about drawing lines, fighting smart, and whether a little slip can change everything. Because I'm still here, and I know you are too.